we do know a few things, but not a whole lot. That's why we're talking to you.
I'm rolling.
So is the sound level okay? Okay.
Everything's good.
Okay. My name is Ed Clendenin, and we're at the 2007 376 Bomb Group Annual Reunion in Milwaukee, and we're conducting interviews. And your name is?
Richard Drigalski, called Murphy during my service with the 512th Bomb Group
Okay. And when and where were you born?
in River Rouge, Michigan,
Okay.
February 12th, 1925.
25. Okay. So you must have joined the service when you were 18?
18. I enlisted before I graduated high school, and the recruiter told me to finish high school before I went in service.
So you enlisted rather than being drafted?
No, I was drafted, but because they delayed my
Enlistment?
enlistment, it was as a draftee.
Okay. So did you pick the Army Air Corps? Or did they pick it for you?
No,
or
they picked it for me.
They picked it for you. Okay.
I have another brother that's in the Air Corps, and I had a brother that was in the infantry.
So there were three brothers who all served in the armed services during
Three
the
of
war?
us out of four.
Out of four.
One
Okay.
has a perforated eardrum, and he tried in this way of trying to get into some service, and he ended up signing up on a merchant marine
Oh, okay.
vessel. But it didn't last long because he had this bad ear,
Okay.
and so he stayed home.
Okay. So you're in the service after high school, and they put you in the Army Air Corps. Where did they send you? What did they send you after that?
First, before that, I was sent to cadets.
Okay.
Well, during the cadets, you go according to your grades and your education and everything. And they found out that I had a toe that I couldn't move, a big toe, because farm accident. My leg was cut, my foot was cut, and I couldn't move my toe. And so they said I couldn't become a pilot or a co-pilot or any of those
Because you had
I couldn't
couldn't move
move
your toe?
one extremity.
Wow. So
And-
you started off trying to be a pilot.
Yes.
Okay.
And so then they suggested that I go into armament school.
Okay.
And so I went to Laurie Field in Denver, Colorado to armament school.
That's where you.
I graduated from armament school.
And then did they send you to gunnery school, or was
Then I
gunnery
went
part of
to
it?
Harlingen, Texas, to gunnery school.
Okay. So
And from gunnery school, we went to Riverside, to Marshfield, Riverside,
California.
California,
Uh-huh.
to assemble our crew.
Okay.
We got a plane all loaded up to fly, and we did landings and practice and everything. And then they assigned us to submarine patrol. I put in 2 missions called submarine patrol up and
Okay.
down the coast of California.
And we-
That's when thought there was Japanese submarines in the area.
So what year was this? 43, 44,
43.
43? Were you flying B-24s?
Yes, B-24. I had a plane and everything. And then the orders come in that there was emergency in a European theater. We're headed for the South Pacific, but emergency was in a European theater, so they canceled our plane and our reservation, our
Travel
everything,
orders, yeah.
and put us on a train. And we took 7 days to go to Norfolk, Virginia.
Okay.
And from there, we went on a Liberty ship to Francis L. Lee.
Yes.
And 28 days, we landed at Bari,
Yes.
Italy. We had a lot of trouble with our ship. The convoy left us behind because we couldn't keep up. Our refrigeration system went out. There were 350 airmen on this boat. And it had a refrigeration system that had fruits and vegetables and all kinds of meats and stuff. And our pilot was a baker, and because the stuff was going bad, the fruits and all that, they made him bake pies and cakes and stuff like that to use up the stuff that would spoil.
Okay. So going back just a little bit, you came out of gunnery school and they sent you to March Field where the crew was formed. So that was both the enlisted and the officers?
Yeah,
And who was your pilot?
Otto V. Sherman.
Otto V. Sherman,
Yeah.
okay. And so your crew went off and did submarine patrol for a couple missions.
Yes.
And then somebody said, oops, we got a problem over
Yeah.
in Europe, shipped you off to the
That's
East
right.
Coast.
Yeah.
So then you get on this boat and the convoy leaves you. Were you a bit concerned that you might be attacked by a submarine?
Well, no, they send a destroyer back. Every couple of days, they'd send a destroyer back, and they throw ash cans in water, and they'd leave us again. They'd take off and leave us again.
Okay.
And then in a harbor, I'm not sure, but it's, I know it's Dakar or something. One of the crew members on the boat had appendicitis.
Uh-huh.
And so they sent out a boat from shore to pick him up, and they put
Was
him
this
on.
one of your crew members or somebody else's crew?
No,
Just-
the ship's crew member.
Oh, it's ship's crew member,
Yeah.
okay. So anyway, 28 days after leaving Norfolk, did you say?
Norfolk, Virginia.
Virginia?
Yeah,
You landed at Barry,
very.
and then they signed you to the
We were-
376?
We were there, I think, just one day. The next day, we left for the 376 bomb group by
And-
truck,
And which squadron were you assigned to?
512.
512th? And what day, well, I mean, well, approximately what month did you arrive at 376?
The what?
I mean, July, was it July, June, October?
I'm not sure,
Okay.
but
Okay.
a bunch of us got
Just
there
showed
at the
up and
same time.
they said, there's your bunk, okay?
Yeah. yeah.
And did
We-
you
we
fly,
lived it, that's, and I was a ball turret gunner
ball turret, okay,
and armament gunner.
armament gunner, okay.
Because I went to armament school, I pulled the pins on the bombs and check the guns and stuff like that. If there's a malfunction, then I do that.
So how long between the time you arrived and you flew your first mission, would you say?
Well, let's see, the pilot had to fly, I think, 5 missions before he could fly as a
Lead pilot?
experienced, not a lead plane, but experienced pilot
Pilot.
by him,
So
fly
he-
a crew by himself.
So he left you guys for 5
Well,
missions?
he went with other,
well, yeah, he
with
went-
other planes, for experience,
And did you guys fly a mission with then an experienced pilot replacing him?
No.
No, so you kind of waited for him to,
For when he finished, then we all flew as a group,
okay.
as a unit.
And did you pretty much stay as a unit for the rest
Yes.
of the tour? Okay,
I was bumped on the 34th sortie, not mission, sortie,
44 sortie, right, because some missions
Which
count
is-
twice,
which
I mean,
was
some
equal
sorties.
to 49 missions.
yes,
Plus the 2 that I had before I went overseas,
okay.
ended up with 51 missions.
Okay.
Now, all of our crew, I was bumped by a major because he learned that this could be the last mission for the 376th. And
Okay.
he checked out in the ball turret.
So you were replaced by a major?
Yes.
And a major flew in the ball turret?
Yes.
Okay.
I think he needed airtime
Ah,
for his pay.
and was that in fact the last mission?
That was the last mission.
That was the last
Yeah.
mission. So you stayed at home while the rest of your crew went off and
Yeah,
did their last
yeah.
mission?
It hurt not to finish my 50th mission, but
So the crew finished their mission, the 376 stood down, and then what, you guys all come home?
no, most of the crew went by boat. I know, Queen Elizabeth or something, I know, and we had a skeleton crew coming back. It
Uh-huh.
wasn't a full crew, because they took out the ball turret and they put the fuel tanks in a bomb bay and, reconstructed the whole plane, and they loaded it up with all kinds of baskets and records and stuff like that in there. And so there's just 2 of us in the back of the plane in the fuselage, and the 4 crew members in the front.
Okay.
There's just 6 of us
So
on
you,
that plane.
so you ferried a plane back.
Yeah.
Was it a 376 plane, do you remember, that you ferried back, or?
Yeah, this was from the 376, I
76?
think.
Okay,
I think we were sent to the 455th.
there was a 455th group.
I think I think that's where we got the plane to fly home.
Oh,
to
okay.
Fly back, and we landed. We stopped in Brazil, South Africa, Puerto Rico. In fact, we lost a supercharger at Puerto Rico, I think it was,
Uh-huh.
and we stayed there 8 days by the time we got a new part.
Okay. So going back to your arrival, you flew, I think you said 34 sorties.
34
For
sorties.
Okay, what targets did you go to? What, do you remember any particular missions stand out in your memories, either being?
Oh yeah, there's some of them stand out.
For example,
Linz, we got over 100 and some holes of flak in our ship.
over Linz? Okay.
Linz, Austria, yeah. And, well, in fact, one time I was in a tent. We lived in the tents, you know, and the bombardier and the navigator come back, and he had a piece of flak in his hand, and he says, the ground crew says that they found us in your turret. And he
Yeah.
says to come and check to see if I was all right. Well, I lucked out. I didn't get hurt.
Right.
But they kept a little piece of flak, and it had the insignia, the German insignia.
So did you
For-
keep it, or did somebody keep it?
No, one of the officers kept it.
Kept it?
Yeah.
Okay. So towards the end of the war, I've had other gentlemen tell me that their bigger concern was flak, not fighters.
Flak. Yeah. By the time we got there, there wasn't very many planes that were flying.
Okay.
You know, German planes, yeah, enemy planes. They're very, very few. I mean, we did shoot at one plane, but it could have been our plane or it could have been a German plane. But it was sitting out, you know, at the same level that we were, but far enough so we couldn't hit it.
Okay.
But when we started firing at it, it got scared and took off.
Took off.
But it could have been a reconditioned plane that they fixed up and recording our height and our speed and everything to the ground crews.
I was gonna say, I've heard that people
Yeah.
mentioned before, the Germans would fly a plane,
Yeah,
same
you know,
altitude, same
yeah,
speed,
same,
everything, and
yeah,
radio that
yeah.
down to the ground.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're sitting in the ball turret and there's no fighters, you just get to look at you can see the target coming up?
Well, I'll tell you what, being that I was armament gunner was a little different than just sitting in a ball turret, you know, and just relaxing.
Okay.
Because I got Murphy, go pull the pins in the Bombay. And then an engineer, he relied on me a lot to help him. In
Okay.
fact, there's a letter, he wrote me a letter and I didn't even know about it until I went to North Carolina and saw him this 2 years ago, is it me? Last year.
Okay.
And he wrote this letter to somebody, and he says that I grabbed a hold of him. And I had this dream all the time. I could see us in the Bombay, and every time I got to a part where gotcha, a word would pop in my head,
Uh-huh.
gotcha. And I didn't even know what it meant until I read his letter, and he says that I grabbed him by the harness because he had slipped off the catwalk trying to open up the Bombay doors when they're frozen.
Uh-huh.
And the crank the electric one wouldn't work, so he was cranking manually. And it had knocked him off the catwalk, and I gotcha.
If you hadn't have saved him, he'd have fallen.
Well, I didn't know nothing about it until he told me, and they were talking to him,
Oh.
and so that's the way it is.
So before you got into the ball turret, approaching the target, you were out helping the engineer and
for
pulling
different places. Now, our helper is a radio operator. Now, I could see him from my turret.
Okay.
You have a turret a certain way, you could just see it up in the Bombay. And the pilot would call, Murph, check on helper. I says, what? He says, he's not responding to me, you know, on the intercom, you know. So I get out, he'd forget to crack the ice in his mask, oxygen mask. It'd freeze up, and he'd pass out.
Yes,
And I mean, this is not just one time, it's a number
lots
of
of
times.
times. Huh.
So I'd get out of the turret, go up there, and I'd smack it, you know,
Yeah.
he'd come to, guy.
Huh, was it easy to get in and out of the turret?
Yeah, it was fairly easy.
Okay,
And I tested two types of parachutes. One was a backpack and one was a seat pack that they designed especially for the ball turret, because for the backpack, there's no room. Your backpack would be in a plane.
yes,
And or chest pack, I guess it would, you know, the chest pack. And so I tested, and I put this seat pack on, and it just threw you up in the air, you know, that you couldn't get your head down enough to close the hatch. And then I tried on that backpack, and I went in there. The harness is hanging down, and the backpack is lower on your body.
yes,
So I jumped in and threw it. You know, you can jump like hop onto your seat is very, very narrow, and I hooked that chute on the back of the hatch,
Yes.
and threw me against the top of the turret on my knees with my knees,
Yeah.
and I busted them knees so bad. So that's the first time I hurt my knees 3 times,
uh-huh,
and well, I was treated for rehabilitation or whatever you call it, rehab.
rehab for your knees?
In Savannah, Georgia. And they sent me a letter that I was not supposed to be discharged because I was being treated. I didn't want a medical discharge. I had points, medals, points, and all this, enough
Yeah.
points to get out, 85 or whatever, you know, more than enough. And so I just got my discharge. When my name come up on the board, get discharged, I signed when they got my discharge and everything. And when I got home, they sent me a letter. I should have been discharged because I was being treated.
Treated, yes,
I said, but millions of people, hundreds or thousands of people being discharged, and they're going to give me a medical one? What am I going to do?
Huh.
How am I going to work?
yeah,
You know?
right,
So that's the reason I got out with honorable discharge instead of medical.
makes sense. So anyway, so you're testing these different types of chutes, and
Yeah.
and one of them you ended up getting hurt.
Neither one of them were
Worked out.
suitable.
I had another ball turret guy tell me he used to carry a chute beside him. Is that what you used to do?
No, I left mine in the
You
plane.
left your mind, so if you had to bail out, you would have to have got out
Well,
of
yeah, but I didn't have to fall as far as the other guys. You see,
Well-
I was closer to the ground.
ground.
So, you know, it's
It made out, okay,
it's
I see. Okay,
uh,
so basically, at this time in the war, there wasn't any major fighters to come.
no.
So you
no,
never probably
no,
never shot your
no
gun at a
fighters,
fighter?
No fighters, no. Lots of flak, but no
Lots of
fighters.
flak. Okay, and
And just almost, well, most of the missions you hit some kind of flak, you know.
and you said, you mentioned that Linz wasn't a particularly
Yeah.
bad. Did you go
It's,
to Vienna?
Did I go to Vienna? Oh, yes. Yeah, Vienna and Rosenberg, the ball bearing. The marshalling yards and bridges and Yugoslavia and Czechoslovakia and Berchtesgaden.
Yes.
We got all the way up to Berchtesgaden and
Wait, you mean Hitler's
Hitler's
lair or whatever?
Berlin,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but to tell you when each mission was, I wouldn't
that's
know
okay. I
because it wasn't my thing
To do.
to take this down, you know.
Sure.
And I did get a list of the sorties that I did fly, but some of them didn't correspond with what they were in the book.
Oh, okay.
Now, you know, sometimes you're assigned to go to a certain place, and in the book, that's what they write down, you know.
Yeah.
But you ended up that maybe this target was already hit, and so you had alternate target.
Targets, right.
And so I got the alternate
Target.
target.
Yeah,
than what they have.
yes. Yes, I found that on, when I was doing my research,
Yeah,
that
yeah. that-
you would take off for Zagreb or whatever, and you'd
In
end up,
some missions, it depends on how far and the time. If you go over the Alps,
right,
and stuff like that, you get credit for 2 missions, about
Right.
1 sortie, see?
right,
And
right.
so when they changed that from sorties, from missions to sorties, it goofed up everything.
Yeah.
The pilots and all that, and all officers especially, they want to have 50 mission crush, where they take their wire out of their hat.
Yes,
50 mission, it's a status symbol.
symbol,
See?
yeah. So you were there in the winter of 44, 45.
Yeah.
I've had also had guys tell me that there was a lot of weather problems. The
Yeah.
targets would be overcast, or
Yeah, that's when we started with the Mickey
the ship.
ships. Yeah, we had the Mickey ship.
Okay,
Since we were quite experienced and we were one of the lead planes, we had a Mickey operator and a photographer. That's how I got these pictures here.
wow,
A photographer.
okay,
All right, this photographer, I never turned his name in. I don't know his name.
okay,
But this photographer was flying with us, and we had some top brass with us.
uh-huh,
And the Mickey operator and all, it's going to be a special mission. And we get halfway to the target, and the pilot says, we're at 12,000 feet, sometimes 10,000 feet, all depends, what people can do. I could go quite a ways without oxygen,
Yes.
quite high. And he said, put on your oxygen masks. So we were, okay. He says, where's mine? Didn't you bring one with you? You're flying in an airplane at 20,000 feet or more, and you got no mask? No, no mics going now. I says, because somebody's going to hear something. So I told him, I'll fix you up. So I showed him how to wrap this glove around a metal ring on a hose, oxygen hose, for coming out, and make sure he doesn't touch that metal. It'll stick to his
stick
mouth.
to his mouth, right,
Yeah, and that's what I says. When you have to use your hands to operate your camera, I'll give you my mask, and I'll suck on that hose.
okay,
And after that mission, he come back, and I wasn't in the tent, and he had a package like that, and he told the other crew members that they were there. He says, where I was, the ball turret gunner. He didn't know my name either, ball turret gunner. I said, okay. And he said, well, he's probably went to the day room or something. He drove up there in a Jeep by himself.
yeah,
And they said, I got a package for him. Would you give him to him? So, okay. I come back to the tent, and he had a group of pictures, combat pictures,
yes,
and a Christmas card, a 376 bomber. And I mean, they're real interesting
Yeah.
pictures. There's formations and over the Alps, and that's how I got those pictures. He was so thankful that I didn't say anything to anybody what happened.
you protected his rear end,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think he told his commander or whatever it is in the photo outfit.
photo lab, yeah,
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that's what they said.
So was flying a Mickey ship much different than flying a normal?
No.
No
No,
ship?
except you got these other big shots.
Other big shots on them.
Yeah,
So
we're all-
you were generally, if you were in the Mickey ship, you were generally leading the group, right?
yeah, usually first, second, or third, one position.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and often I guess the group commander was in that same plane with you.
yeah, you probably either that or maybe just somebody else that checked out. That's
Who was the group commander then? Was that Graf?
I couldn't tell you.
Couldn't tell you, okay,
I don't.
okay.
He don't know who I was, so I don't know. I didn't know who he is.
Okay.
I remember one time the commander, me and Leon Poole we're just walking around, just out in the field,
Yeah.
walking around, and we spotted him coming across the field. And he's running this and that. He tried to catch up with us, and every time he turned one way, we turned the other way. And he come, finally, we said, well, we'll wait and see what he happens to say. He says, what are you guys doing out here? I said, well, we're just looking over our area,
Yeah.
He says, well, what are you doing? Well, I said, we're just going for a walk.
Yeah.
He said, why? Didn't you see me coming? No, we didn't see you coming. He's all out of breath and everything. It's funny. There's good, funny stories to the war and serious stuff too.
So, how was your relationship? Did you go into town very much with the Italians? Did you?
Once in a great while. I went to Lecce.
Lecce was the closest town, right?
I think
Lecce, I'm not sure how it's pronounced.
Like Lecce, something
Right.
like that. Lecce. And I think the first night at Barry, I think we went into town, but I don't even remember much about it. I think Lecce was there, but not very often.
Now there was a beach also, wasn't there, for the enlisted men and the officers that you could go swimming near Taran? Or did you ever go to the beach?
No, I never did. I went to
Okay.
Isle Capri.
You went to
Rest camp.
on R&R?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was down in at the heel of Italy. There's like a long weekend we had
Oh, okay.
just in the hotel, but it's just like a weekend. That's all. But we spent a week on Isle Capri.
Did your crew pretty much stay together as when you
Yeah,
went on
yeah.
R&R and onto this hotel?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Now after the last mission, the officers, I don't know, all of them, or I think all of them, went to Rome. They got a Jeep and they went to Rome. And I got some pictures there of them.
But just the officers? went?
Just the officers, yeah.
Okay.
They had the upper hand. That's it.
Okay.
They could afford the gas, I guess.
Another comment. There's some officers and crews that wanted the enlistment to call them Joe, Larry,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
and some of them kept referring that you had to call me lieutenant.
yeah. You didn't have to salute them or anything. They're very just like. In fact, if they wanted to have a good time, they would borrow some of our uniforms and go to the
really?
NCO.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's because the officers' club was dead. You might say.
I see.
They're
Wasn't that
very high educated, so it was high class. Where they wanted to have some fun, they went to the
the
NCO club.
NCO club? Oh,
Yeah.
I see. And nobody recognized them as being officers?
Well, they didn't say nothing because there's probably so many of them that were doing it.
Sure. Okay.
Did you know that, anybody tell you that after every mission you got a shot of whiskey?
One of the guys told me there was 2 bottles of brandy, but I guess it'd be the same thing at the debrief.
What we did when I have a mission, well, you go back to the dispensary,
Okay.
and the dispensary, you had to put your name on a bottle, and they put if you didn't want to drink it right there, if you're real nervous after a mission, well, you're going to take
Right.
somebody else's even,
Okay.
But they put that on. When you built up, then you can have a party,
I see.
And,
So you save up your shots from the
Yeah,
mission,
but
no?
somebody else had the party. That's the trouble, So I wasn't much of a drinker, but I'm still not much of a drinker.
Okay.
But
So you complete your mission. Oh, go ahead.
now about my legs, I hurt my legs, and I went to this dispensary once. My legs swelled up pretty bad. And I went to the dispensary. I don't know you don't remember these names because they just fly by. You don't know them. And he looked at my leg and he says, you should have that X-rayed. I said, no, I don't want that X-rayed. I want to finish my missions. And He said, well, I got some stuff that, my own concoction, that I mixed up myself. He says, to help take the swelling down,
Uh-huh.
you know. I said, okay, let's try that. And he poured some in the thing, and he wrapped my leg, and he says, I can't do this again, because all my gauze will be gone, you know, because in case something else, he says, if I wrap it. So he opened that up, and he poured that, and I smelled it. I said, that's horse liniment. He said, how'd you know? I says, I grew up on a farm. I says, I know what horse liniment is.
Yes.
It's white and it's strong, you know.
Yes.
And so he gave me a little bottle of it, and he soaked it, you know, before I left there, and he gave me a little bit in the bottle, and it took the swelling out. But he says, I do it outside because they wouldn't be able to stand it in the tent.
It smells, huh?
Yeah, it's strong. Yeah.
Did it work?
Yeah, it worked.
Okay.
Yeah, I finished my mission, so.
So you said on the returning that it was a skeleton crew and you ferried a plane back and you got back in the United States. Did the crew still stay together or after you returned or what happened?
No, we lost contact. We lost contact. I didn't, let's see, Leon, Halper. No, for about 20 years, none of us got together.
Uh-huh.
And then Gene Halper, he was calling all over, and he got a hold of me, and he got a hold of Leon Poole, and he got a hold of the Bombardier in Seattle, Washington, Terry, you call him Terry, and who else? There was one other one. Oh, the tail gunner, Claude Ostwinkle.
Mm-hmm.
And he got a hold of us, and they wanted to meet in Chicago. This is about 20 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And so I went, they asked me to come down too, and I flew down there, and we had a get-together.
So you had a reunion of your crew.
Yeah, and in a hotel there. But Ostwinkle didn't show up. He had some other thing. He was
Uh-huh.
not too far away, but he couldn't make it. So there was Terrio and his wife, and Gene Halper, and me. Mm-hmm. And we met in Chicago, and for a couple of days, just a weekend.
Now, some of the crews, when they came back from the European theater, there were rumors that they were going to be sent to the Pacific.
We were supposed to go into B-29s.
Okay, so you were
Part
slated,
that,
if you will,
but
to go B-29.
they never did call.
Okay. Was the crew still maintained? In other words, would you have gone to B-29 school with the same guys you flew?
Yeah, if I could have passed the physical, I would have.
Okay.
Yeah, if I could have passed the physical.
Did you think your
See,
niece would?
we landed at Drew Field coming
Okay.
back.
Is that in Florida?
In Georgia.
Georgia.
Drew
Okay.
Field, yeah.
Okay.
Savannah, Georgia.
Uh-huh.
And that's where I got discharged from.
And that's where the
Yeah, that's where I was getting the therapy, yeah.
So you probably, at that point, they probably wouldn't have let you join the B-29 group.
Well,
By speculating.
if I was healthy, I would have stayed in service. I definitely would have. You see, when I grew up, we had a farm. My dad had a farm.
Uh-huh.
He was a machinist,
Uh-huh.
but he wasn't a farmer. And us boys, and we had one hired man, 141-acre farm.
Uh-huh.
And he leased it out to some people
Mm-hmm.
in Clinton, Michigan. Mm-hmm. Well, these people run the farm down in the ground. I mean, the land that was U of M and agriculture department and 4-H and all that stuff were built up this ground to produce good, you know.
Right.
And he just let it all go to weeds and everything. And the barns, they left the big doors open, and the wind catch them, knock them all down. Barns were falling down because he didn't take. He went in Clinton and worked in a woolen mill instead of taking care of the farm. And so my dad he had to just get whatever he could out of it to buy a house in River Rouge
Uh-huh.
because my mom was get sickly then. And so I would have gone back to that farm in a minute.
So what did you, so your dad gave up the farming business, so what did you do after you left the army, after the,
Well, I had a hard time walking.
okay,
And then I was treated in Riverview Hospital for a month. When I got out of there, I couldn't walk at all. So then I spent a couple of months at home.
uh-huh,
Oh, you just say about going to the Veterans Hospital, you know.
yeah,
You couldn't even get in the door. There's so many people there.
Oh,
And if
really?
you did get in there, you can't get waited on. You sit there all day.
uh-huh,
So I went to California. The doctor said, well, go to a different climate. Before I went to California, we stopped off in Oregon.
okay,
Rain, 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 rain. That's no good for somebody with bad legs, I'll
Right.
tell you that. So I worked in a woolen mill.
Okay.
Easy job, they had big vats, and I'm moving, turning this wool over in the
Yeah.
big vats, dyeing, you know, and I liked the job, you know. But my brother and a friend of his, there's three of us went,
uh-huh,
and I know something happened. And they come one day. I was working on a Saturday, and they come and says, "We're going to California." So I had to go and get partial pay or whatever, you know, and they'd send the rest home, you know, to my mom and stuff like that. You know. And so we ended up in San Bernardino, California.
San Bernardino, you and your brothers?
Yeah. I mean, not San Bernardino, Sacramento.
Sacramento.
I run
Okay.
Capitol Avenue. My brother was stationed there when he was in the Army.
Okay,
And he knew this gas station guy because he had some trucks that even when he was on a base, he run his trucks, gravel trucks. So they had a storehouse for oil and this, that, so they cleaned that all out and put bunk bed in there. That's where we stayed.
that's where you stayed.
And then I got a job at the airfield out in the desert. And it's a new system. They had a big hangar, and they're making the planes in stations, 7 stations. The first 3 stations were taking the engines apart, the manifolds and everything. And the next 3 stations were reassembling. And the 4th station was inspection.
Uh-huh,
You know, see what had to be freed. Then there's after that is a test flight
okay,
for these planes. And it's not only just military, but it's a commercial too. And I was getting better pay than the guys that are flying. And my brother was a flyer, he was an engineer.
yeah,
And because I had the 10% disability
okay,
on
because of your knees,
one knee, they wouldn't give me on both knees
just the one.
because they said I had heard it before I went in service. I said, well, how did I go through basic training and all of this stuff when I had a slight sprain? You know, it didn't bother me at all. They wouldn't give me anything for that other leg and that was worse than the other one.
Oh, okay,
So I quit arguing with them. So that's the way I get 10% right now.
okay. So you were out in Sacramento, California,
Yeah.
rebuilding engines.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long did you do that?
Well, until we got a telegram that said father died. My dad was a little sickly. He was getting up in age. And so we sold everything. The car, we had a 1940 Oldsmobile. We sold that for plane ticket home. Me and my brother.
Uh-huh,
Well, we got home, and my uncle is the one that sent the telegram.
yes.
It was his father that died, my grandfather.
No, not your father.
No, and my grandfather, but he said father died, you know. So
So
that-
I guess that was a bit of
so
relief,
then
huh?
after that we stayed home, and I got a job working for a trucking company. And before that I went to machine design and drafting.
Okay.
Okay, I was good at drafting. I had drafting in high school, but after I graduated, I couldn't sit on that stool up on that drafting table. My legs, in a few hours, you couldn't. They're numb. You couldn't take it. So I went working for a trucking company, and I worked there for 34 years.
Wow.
And we shipped for Ford Motor Company, U.S. Pool Car.
Okay.
And that's where I retired from.
Now back then, the GI Bill. Did you ever think about going to college and on the GI Bill?
Well, this drafting school took up 11 months or something of the education. There wasn't much left after that,
Oh, okay.
so I didn't bother them.
Okay. So, okay. Is there anything topic that
I'm
I
a
just...
talker, ain't I?
No, they're great little stories. I was trying to put memory back to go back and maybe. Is there anything particular that we didn't talk about that you'd like to elaborate on that either I missed or particular person that you've in the squadron that you liked or
Well, I liked the Air Corps. I liked it. I really did like the Air Corps.
Did you think about staying in the
Yeah,
service?
yeah, like I say, if I was physically able, I would have. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I had nothing else to do. No farm.
No farm. Did you want to go become a farmer?
I would because it had 141 acres.
Yes.
Got 40 acres of woods and pasture,
Uh-huh.
and a creek going right through, Iron Creek, going right through that pasture, and it run into Raisin River in
Okay.
Clinton, Michigan.
Is there a shopping mall on it now?
No, I haven't been there in about 10 years maybe,
Oh, okay.
but I'm planning on going look in there. But I know that the last I heard, my brother said he was there not too long ago, and he says this chicken coop, which we had real nice building, cement and floor and everything, and we raised 2,000 chickens twice a year.
Okay.
And my dad used to take eggs into Detroit and at
Sell 'em?
Chrysler plant, and he had
Uh-huh.
regular customers. And right now, in that chicken coop, they're living in it. The
Who's
house,
living
they
in it?
tore the house down.
Okay.
It was an old house, you
Yeah.
know. And the last time he was there, he says he went to the place there, and the only thing that's building there is the chicken
Chicken
house.
coop. And people
They're
are living
living in it.
And people are living
Yeah,
in it.
yeah. I mean,
Oh.
it was nice, a beautiful whole thing. You know, the house.
Uh-huh.
It's like a what do you call it? One-story house, like, you know,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
cement floor and everything, windows, a lot of windows and stuff.
Okay.
Oh,
Now you brought some pictures with you. Is that right?
oh yes. Well, I got a picture of the crew, but this is the only picture I have.
Oh, the one up here on top.
That's a crew. The only one is Red Whitcomb with co-pilot.
Okay.
And this is our crew. And well, this is me here, and this is where I went to California. I just put that picture in there. That's a B-25.
B-25, right?
Yeah. Now this is what leaflets that we used to drop.
Oh, on the.
Now this is the front and the back of the same leaflet.
Okay.
For, you know, to let them know
Propaganda.
that we're, you know,
Asking them to surrender.
yeah, stuff like that. That's what a training plane when I flew over in Harlingen, Texas, the first plane I flew, but they had a gun in the back here, shooting that target.
That's when you were trying to become a pilot.
AT-6. No,
Yeah.
that's a AT. This is after gunnery school.
Oh, after gunnery school.
AT-6,
Okay.
This is just a picture.
Just a picture of a B-24. Oops.
Yeah.
This is fairly I mean, a lot of stuff I haven't seen.
This is my brother.
Uh-huh.
Looks like me.
Where was that
This
taken?
is me. This is New Guinea. That's my
Oh, your brother took that
older
one.
brother. This is Harlingen, Texas. And this is a field when it was just before we left.
To come back to the States?
Yeah. And that's two of the people that.
That looks like the Arc de Triomphe
This this is in Rome.
in Rome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I got all of these here. It's Isle of Capri, Naples, Italy, and different ones. Africa, one of them. Capri. That's my parachute log.
Your parachute log?
Yeah.
What'd you do in the parachute log?
Well, it fell out, so I kept it.
No, I mean, what did you record there? Obviously
Huh?
not the time, every time you used, because you never used it.
No, but you always had a parachute, you always.
Sure.
And when I was turning it back in, it fell out, and I picked it up and I put it in there.
Is this one of the planes you flew, or is that?
Yeah, that's one of the planes.
Looks like number 38.
See, Drew Field, that's where I got discharged from.
Okay. Is this your discharge?
Yeah, this is traveling orders.
Travel orders. Okay.
Yeah, that's my name down here.
I saw your
somewhere.
name right here.
Yeah.
Travel orders from Italy back to the States?
No, from Drew Field home.
Home. Okay.
And now this is Laurie Field. Now this is
Oh,
it's
Colorado.
Yeah, see, that's the world's largest barracks. I understand a friend of mine. He said he thinks they tore that down. So I don't know. It's just, this is the same, all one piece. But I got.
Oops.
Oh, this is that Christmas card.
Oh, okay.
Let's see what it is. Oh, this is from Isle Capri, isn't it? Yeah.
So if you successfully survive R&R, they give you a diploma?
Yeah. Well, if you're a good guy.
If you're a good guy.
We've been busy, and we're busier now. But here's wishing you a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I haven't seen one of those.
Yeah. Now this is my brother right here.
Uh-huh.
Now, he was in the National Guard before the war even started.
Oh, okay.
And,
this is your crew again?
This is the crew, yeah.
But there's only 9 of you. Where was the 10?
That's what I said the co-pilot wasn't in the picture.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he's taking the picture or what, but
Okay.
he wasn't in it. Red Whitcomb, 15. And this is Rosa. And this is, remember I told you about Regensburg?
Regensburg, right.
Yeah. And this is on the Isle of Capri. We had these caps and patches. We got the patches.
That's a funny looking hat.
Yeah. And this is this is in Mexico.
There's your,
This is Harlingen, Texas. This is the bombardier. He's still living. This the bombardier, and this is through the ball turret, looking at the field.
Sanpan?
I think so. See, I'm looking through the view plate of the.
Huh.
So
Squadron patch.
yeah. Some money.
Is that in the local paper?
Yeah, yeah. News Herald. You ever see this?
No. What's this? Oh, this is a copy of the Japanese surrender.
Yeah. Did you get that? Yeah. And this is in Florida that
It's in Florida?
yeah.
St. Augustine?
Pensacola. This
Pensacola.
is where
Oh, the
Kennedy
Texas,
was shot from there.
Texas.
And
yes.
this is the flags that are down in the bottom.
Okay.
Right here, see these flags?
Mm-hmm.
That's in. Well, this is a close up of them. And that's at. This is a battleship Alabama, and there's a. This is a mall at the
DC.
Washington D.C. And there should be a picture of the submarine drum. This is when they were working on. You couldn't take a picture with a flash in there.
Right. There's the submarine.
Yeah, that's a drum. a submarine drum it's called. That's my wife right there.
Okay,
And this is at the White House.
unknown soldier.
This is on the Mississippi.
There's a ball turret.
I got some of its patches, some of them. There's some more someplace that I got.
Are these some of the planes you guys were on?
Well, that photographer gave me those.
I recognize this plane from the 376, and I recognize that one,
Yeah, Sloppy Steve, yeah.
but I don't recognize. I didn't
Yeah, I
know you
remember
flew a
Bubble
Zodiac.
Trouble.
You remember Bubble Trouble?
Yeah, but
Was that in the 512?
I think so. I think yeah. But this ball turret is on the B-17,
Okay.
but it's the same turret except the B-24 retractable, and this is stationary.
Stationary. Okay.
Yeah. And those are just other pictures.
There's that same plane. That's number 38. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is my oldest brother here.
Okay.
He got all kinds shot up and everything, and shrapnel and malaria down in New Guinea and all that. And I used to take him once in a while to the veterans. He'd get disappointed. He said, "Let's get out of here." And then, so
Great. Good stuff.
this is a patch off of my jacket, but it come apart and
Really?
yeah. You see, that star was in there, and
Are these some of the pictures that camera guy gave you?
some of them, and some of them that we took. These here are our own pictures that we
Uh-huh.
are. I think our navigator took them, most of them.
Wow. I've never
I
seen.
got the negatives from the Bombardier. I got from the Bombardier negatives,
I've never seen.
and so I had these printed. See, P-38.
That was your escort.
We didn't see too much of them. Very little. There's a good best picture right there.
Of 21.
B-24. Best picture.
We would love to add copies of these to our archive. Could you make copies for us, or?
I don't know if the film would hold up anymore.
Because some of these are priceless. I mean.
Yeah, see this flak?
Uh-huh. Well, like the flak.
Yeah.
You must have been coming off the target, or is that a
Yeah,
cloud?
that's a cloud coming out. This is, when you start
Yes.
line up. I made 6 copies of these.
Uh-huh.
And I sent them to each one of the crew members that I knew was still living or what, And so that's, if you look close on one of them, but you can see the bombs dropping.
Well, here's one. Bombs away.
Yeah, see, you can see there's a bomb right there. See it?
Oh, yeah.
And another one. You can see the bomb. See here?
Uh-huh.
Another one. They're good pictures. I mean,
Oh, they're more
don't
than-
forget they're
they're more than
60-some
good
years
pictures.
old.
Oh, man, I mean,
I wasn't going to bring this, but
I'm
my boss says
I-
bring them.
I'm serious. If we could get copies, it'd be fantastic. Wow. Is that you, or is that somebody else?
No, that's the Bombardier.
Okay.
This is a double exposure.
You're there,
Yeah.
pretty tight formation.
The cameras weren't like you have now and stuff like that.
Now, is this Sanpan?
Yeah, this is, yeah. We were the last plane to leave Sanpan, and people ask, what happened to Geraldine?
Who's Geraldine?
Geraldine was our dog, a dachshund. And that dog would follow us and watch our tent. When we're gone, it would sit in front of our tent until we got back.
Uh-huh.
And so as we're leaving, we're going to, getting ready to taxi out. Here comes Geraldine, running after us. We're the last ones. And when we got stopped to get lined up and everything, we took Geraldine and we picked her up and put her in the plane. And we took her to the 455th or whatever it is. Where that I give her to be to a medic that was going to stay there after the war for a while. And because we couldn't get the dog vaccinated to bring it
back
to the States.
That's kind of, I mean, I'm glad you found a home, but it's kind of,
Yeah, Geraldine.
the loyal dog.
There's
wanted
probably
to-
a lot of people that probably remember Geraldine. It would always go to the mess hall with us and just wait
That's
till
the
we're
first
done.
time I've heard of the story of Geraldine.
Yeah, Geraldine, yeah.
So,
Dachshund, yeah.
well, this is
And
great.
It didn't care for the workers around there.
The
It
Italians?
didn't care for, boy, if they try to get into our tent, look out.
So where did she just show up one
Yeah,
day?
yeah, she just showed up. Probably another crew, probably missing or whatever, and
Wow.
adopted us.
Huh. Okay.
There's another story. I don't know.
Okay.
But they don't have to put it on camera or nothing. We had 6 in a tent. 2 bunk beds and 2 singles. So I had a single and somebody else had a single. And this one, let's see, the radio operator was accused of taking the nose gunner's candy. You know, you got an ammunition box built into 2P walls,
Yeah.
sandstone walls.
Okay.
And, and so this one time, this nose gunner, he was gonna look and he says, I'm gonna catch who's ever taking my candy. So he's waiting there and he heard that paper at night, he heard that paper rattling and he reached and grabbed it. It was a rat. And the helper says, I told you I wasn't stealing your candy. That big rat.
How long did he hold the rat?
Well, and another thing, funny thing, is well, I don't like to name names because it's not. We had assistant engineer. I'll just say Frank.
Frank.
Okay, Frank was a drinker,
Okay.
very heavy drinker, and we'd all go to bed. He'd come from the club, and he'd well, we'd shut off the gas line because it just dripped into a pan, and we had fruit, 5-gallon cans wired together, and then the fruit cans wired for a chimney in a tent,
That was the heat for the.
for heat, and so he'd come in there and he'd turn that gas on, and that pot would be hot yet,
Yes.
steaming, and by the time he got his thing, that thing is really fuming in there, he'd throw a match and he'd blow it all up. The whole stove and all the holes in the tent and everything because of soot, would be hot. Oh, he did that a number of times.
Number of times?
Yeah. And we try to watch him before he comes. No, our net's hot.
Was he a flight member of the flight crew?
Yeah, he's top
he
third.
must have been in great shape when getting ready to fly a
I
mission.
talked to his wife quite a while ago in Chicago, and he worked for the railroad. And she says, well, he died over 20 years ago. And he says he never gave up that drinking. He was a drunkard when he was born. He was a drunkard when he died. Yeah.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah, it's too bad, but he's a good guy. But it just
But he drank.
right.
Well, this was a great story. So I'm really happy you came by and talked with us. So it was a pleasure. Do you have anything else you'd like to add, or we'll wrap it up?
No, I don't think so.
Well, like I said, thank you very much. It was quite enjoyable, and I'm glad you
Well-
brought your pictures and.